that can get you that kind of yardage when maybe they're trying to shut down the pass. It'll be interesting to see how Dixie tries to control both of those aspects of the game.
Yeah, that's running the ball over 20 times a ball game. So a team that throws as much as Pineview, you would wonder how in the world is there room there for somebody to run it 20 times a ball game and then have that much success. So that's why they are successful. That's why they have such a good record, and that's why they're here playing in the semifinal game.
The head coaches for tonight's game for Pineview is Mr. Ray Hosner. He is in his 14th year, has a record of 118 wins and 42 losses. They like to run the spread offense. As we mentioned, they come into this ball game 8-2 overall. They won their last 4 games that they have played. Their 2 losses this year have come to Judge Memorial. It was an 18-16 game, and then Desert Hills got them 35-21. This is the 23rd playoff appearance for Pineview in their history. And as we mentioned, they're looking to capture their first state title. Had a little bit of heartbreak last year as they lost to Desert Hills in the title game 27-21. And for Dixie, as we mentioned, they have 7 state championships to their credit. Their head coach, Mr. Blaine Monkers, he's in his 7th season, 51-27 down at Dixie High School. They have won their last 6 straight, including a come-from-behind win over Stansbury last week, scoring 28 in the 4th quarter. You and I talked about this a little bit as we were preparing. Wow, what a comeback to do that against the _1 team coming from the North Stansbury.
Yeah, and they, scored 35 unanswered, I guess, even because there were 7 points before that 4th quarter. And Blaine's been successful wherever he has been. I can remember starting with him when he was at Morgan High School. And then he's gone back up into the 5A and settled in down in St. George. So Hosner, I think, has been at Pineview down there in St. George for quite a while. I can remember when Pineview started their school there in the early 80s, and we were in their league. So it's, both coaches very well versed in what they're doing. So it should be just a fantastic ball game.
So as you can see, Pineview is the designated home team here tonight. They are dressed in the black uniforms, top to bottom. Dixie comes in the all-white with the blue helmets and the blue trim. So obviously easy to pick out who's who as we are getting set to kick this one away. Once again, just at 30 degrees here in Salt Lake City, and I imagine the temperature will continue to dip as this game goes on.
And just kind of for some comparisons, Ken, Judge Memorial is in the 3A classification, and that's the 3A that they split into 2 classifications for football only. They're playing in the state championship in the 3A classification. It shows you there's pretty good football played in all of these classifications. Good football is good football.
So Pineview will be kicking this one away. They move from right to left on your dial, or I should say on your screen. And Dixie set to receive this one. They'll be moving from left to right. That's out of the north end zone towards the south. Just a slight breeze blowing here in the stadium. Should not affect anything. Here's the kick. Going to be fielded up near the 7. Touched and dropped. Going to roll back inside of the 2-yard line where it's picked up and returned out to the 17. That could have been disaster for a moment. He did a good job just to get it out to the 17-yard line.
You know, and then almost broke it, Ken, and sometimes that's what happens when you do have a muff like that. The defense kind of relaxes just a little bit, and he was just a tackle away from moving forward. So, yeah, pretty scary right off the bat. And there again, I'm talking about hanging on to that ball in this cold weather.
So here come the Flyers, as they'll have a chance to draw first blood as they start again. We'll call it the 18-yard line. Out of the shotgun. And here's the give up the middle. This is going to go for good yardage. Out across the 30, 35, and out to the 40-yard line. As they break it for a nice gain. Out to the 40, sets up a first down.
Yeah, all the way out to the 41 for 22 yards. What a way to start the ball game.
So it'll be 1st and 10 once again. And it'll be a quarterback keeper around that left side. And this is going to go for good yardage and another first down inside of the 45, right at the 45. That'll be a gain of 14 yards for the Dixie quarterback, Emmett Takau. And he is very, very capable of putting up big yards on the ground as well. And maybe that's an answer that they have against this Pineview defense. Put it in the quarterback's hands and let him create just a little bit out on the edge.
You bet, and he did a good job reading that end and saw that end collapsed a little bit and pulls it out and goes. So 14 makes 14 yards on his first carry.
So 2 plays, 2 first downs. Here's the give. Off that left tackle will go for about 3 yards to the 41-yard line. It'll set up a second down. And about 7 yards to go.
40 yards rushing, pretty good in a quarter, Ken, for a football team. Dixie has that in 3 plays.
Well, this drive started on the 18-yard line. Dixie has moved it into Pineview territory. Again, 2nd and 7. And standing in the shotgun all alone, it'll be Ammon Takau. Back to pass, standing at the 50, the midfield stripe looking, going to go over the middle, or I should say down the left side. It's caught, complete. It's going to go for a score and a touchdown, and Dixie gets on the board first. He just got inside of that defender, Coach. Sealed him off, and the pass was on the money from Takau, and they'll take it in for the score.
And I can't tell what number that is.
I think it might have been 13. We're up a long ways away.
But that started with protection. Give credit to that offensive line. He just stood back there and waited for a little bit of a confrontation, a little bit of a hand fight out there with the receiver and the DB, and then came back on the skinny post, and there he is, touchdown. What a start for Dixie.
So Brett Barbin, one of his key receivers, makes the catch and the score. And just like that, 7-0. Dixie leads it. We'll be back right after this 30-second timeout.
For you, bronze package. Triple the price, doubles the contract.
You want a big muscle?
You want a big muscle?
I make your little muscle into big muscle.
Say no to gym intimidation. Say yes to Planet Fitness. We're not a gym, we're Planet Fitness.
Your locally owned and operated Planet Fitness is a proud sponsor of our amazing high school athletic programs.
So Barbin, the featured receiver, takes the nice pass and gets it in for the touchdown. And here the kick going to sail into the end zone. This will be a touchback. And Pineview, with their first opportunity, will come out to the 20, trailing 7-0 in this 3AA semifinal. Tomorrow it'll be Hurricane Desert Hills in the second semifinal.
And last year, Ken, when we did a game up here, it was a fantastic game with Dixie Desert Hills, I believe. And boy, this one started off going to be the same way. A lot of action.
Again, Cody Wilstead standing at his own 15, takes the snap, looks, going to float it out here in the flat, complete. And it'll be a loss of a couple yards. I believe that was Blake Entz on the catch. But it'll set up a second down and 10.
Or even 12.
Excuse me, 12. Sorry about that, Coach. So they'll move it back to the 18-yard line. And again, Wilstead out of the shotgun. He'll give it to his back, and another loss on the play. This will be a loss of 1, as that was Pano Tiatia on the carry. And now it sets up a third down and long with 13 yards to go. As Wilstead now stands at his own 12-yard line to take the snap. Fakes the handoff, fakes the end around. Now looks, going to go deep down the middle. Got a receiver, beating his man, and he just overshoots him at the 30-yard line. Boy, talk about a pretty thrown ball there. He just aired that thing out, Coach. About 55, 60 yards.
Yeah, that was plus 60 yards. He's standing just inside his 10-yard line, and that thing cleared the 30. Wow, what an arm. And he had a guy open right here, the fake back. or the receiver, I guess, that came on fake the reverse, he was wide open down this sideline. I think he would like to have that back at some point, and maybe will remember that for later in the ball game.
So Dixie looking to get pretty good field position out of this one as they hold Pineview to a 3 and out. This is going to be a short punt. Going to fall at about the 47 and then rolls across midfield. And going to be down almost at the 40. So Dixie, you can see just a little extra hop, little bounce in their step as they come from the sideline here. They lead it 7-0. And they'll start with great field position here at the 40-yard line. So once again, here come the Flyers. Ammon Takau standing in the shotgun. He looks over, gets the play that he'd like. He's got trips to the far side, 2 to the near side. It'll be a 5 wide receiver set. He'll bring the slot man over next to him. And they will go to him as he works his way up to about the 44, a gain of about 4 yards.
Very successful play, Ken. Anytime you can get 4 yards on first down, that just opens up so many possibilities for second and third down here.
So again, Takau's standing at his own 39-yard line. And again, he'll read it, pull the ball out, and he'll have a first down across the midfield stripe all the way to the 42-yard line of Pineview as he'll pick up good yardage.
About 14 yards on that carry.
And Dixie going in a hurry right here as they'll look to the sideline to get the offensive call. And again, Takau waits for the signal to come in. Everybody turns and looks to get the signal. And then they'll look down on their armband to get the play, the number that they want. And again, it'll be 2 wide, 2 to the near side. Takau keeps it himself. This time it's defended well by Pineview, and he'll pick up a yard maybe to the 41-yard line. And it'll bring up a second down and 9. And now, Coach, if you can look out across the stadium, the snow starts to fall with 7.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter, and Dixie leading 7-0. Temperature is taking a dip, and here comes the snow into the stadium. Not heavy, but enough that you can see it falling, and we'll see if it plays a part in hanging on to the football. And now here is a flag thrown by the official in the defensive backfield. That'll be a delay of game. So that time took just a little too long trying to get the play in. That'll back them up 5 and brings up a second down and 14.
And that sometimes is the problem with signaling in each play like that from the sideline without huddling, but usually that doesn't play a part.
Here's Takau looking. Going to go down right down the seam, and a little miscommunication between him and his intended receiver as the ball falls incomplete. It'll bring up third down and 14.
And I can't see exactly, not turning side, that's number 11, I believe, is the intended receiver there.
Third down and 14.
So at the clock stopped at 7:12 to go, 7-0 lead. Dixie has the ball, looking for more. Takau at his own 45, drops back, floats it out left side, complete, and picking up pretty good yardage out to the 35. And this might give Dixie, Coach, it may give them the opportunity. Coach Monkers might say, let's go ahead and go for it on fourth down, as it's a little more manageable, about 4th and 4 now.
Fourth down, 5 yards to go.
And you know, he just about got tackled for a loss and showed some great acceleration right there to even get out and get where he is in range that he can make this decision.
So even though we're early in the game, this is a big play for both teams. Pineview needs a stop here to get the ball back. They trail, as we mentioned, 7-0.
And I think they're just going to kind of bark and wait and hope somebody jumps off sides. And
Too wide to the far side. They will snap it. They'll give it to the slot receiver coming across left to right. He is not going to get to the first down marker as he is taken down at the 35-yard line. A pretty nice play. And Pineview will take over, first down and 10, coming the other way.
Just one man away. Credit number 22 there for Pineview. Coming up and making a great open field tackle, because he doesn't make that tackle. He not only gets the first down, but continues to go down the sideline.
So here's the give coming off the right side. Not a whole lot there as the defense played it well. It'll be a gain of almost 2 to the 37-yard line. Sets up a second down. And we'll call it 8 for Pineview. And again, they will come quick too. Cody Wilstead stands at his own 32. Tia just to his left as he takes the snap. He'll look, surveys the field, still looks. Got a man over the middle if he wants him. Sees him a little bit late and then throws it into the turf about 3 or 4 yards short of the first down. It'll bring up a third down. And still 8 yards to go.
And credit both offensive lines at this juncture of the game already. Quarterbacks both are just being able to sit back there and pick and choose.
You'll see Bladen Hosner here split to the left side. And Pineview once again, third down and 8. Beautifully thrown ball complete across midfield and down at about the 48-yard line. About a 15-yard completed pass as Wilstead finds his receiver coming across over the middle.
And Pineview just gets into the positive with that pass as far as passing yardage.
Yep, Blake Hance on the reception. And now working his way up through the middle. Wilstead making his way to about the 43-yard line, brings up second down. And we'll call it 6. We'll make it 7 yards to go. Pineview trails in this one, 7-0. They're looking to knot this thing up as they are in Dixie territory once again at the 44-yard line.
And Wilstead's a big, strong kid out there. Again, he falls forward, and he can certainly get you yardage, so he can be very effective running the ball. 3
receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side as Wilstead all alone at the midfield stripe. Looks going to run. Now he'll float it out complete to the receiver at the 32, inside the 30, and down at about the 26-yard line. And they'll move the change. And now a late flag comes in on top of this one. We'll have to wait and see what the call is. But if this is a personal foul, this is going to put the ball down inside of the 15. We'll wait and see. Once again, I believe that was Blake Hance on the catch. And here's the call. It is helmet to helmet is the call. And it's a 15-yarder. This will move the ball down inside of the 15 all the way to the 13-yard line where Pineview will have it first and 10. And obviously that's been an emphasis for the last couple of years, Coach, is they want to get rid of the helmet-to-helmet stuff. So Wilstead with Tia to his right. He'll give it to the big fullback, and he'll scamper inside of the 5 and down close to the 2-yard line. It'll be another first down for the Panthers, and it'll set them up first and goal. Good looking back coming out of the backfield, as we talked about him in the pregame. He has 11 touchdowns on the year and nearly 1,500 yards rushing. Now they'll come with a full house backfield, and we'll see if once again they'll give it to Tia. Now Wilstead will adjust his backfield, move him to the left side. Little offset. Here's the give. And fighting for the end zone. Not sure if he got in.
But that's what you call student body left, Ken. They put 2 fullbacks right behind the tackle and the tight end, and running back gets behind them all.
Ball is short of the goal line. Ball carrier was number 8, Jake Peters.
So second down.
Second down.
And once again, they'll stay tight on both sides as Wilstead will come up under center. Here's the snap. And just a little inside handoff and in for the score, a touchdown. And there's Tia on the 2-yard plunge for the score, and Pineview is an extra point away from tying this thing up. Pineview very efficient coming down the field. They had the one penalty that helped them on the personal foul. Wilstead kind of finding his rhythm on that particular drive.
Well, and if they can't get pressure on either side on the quarterbacks, they're just going to have a heyday all day because he stepped back there, and if you give him that much time, he's just going to pick you apart all day long.
So the point after try is up. And it's good. So with 3:59 to go here in the first quarter, we are tied at 7 apiece in this 3AA semifinal. On a Thursday night, glad to have you with us here as Scaluzza produces this one. And we'll be back right after this quick break.
Now is the time to push yourself, to dream, to learn, to achieve. Moments like these come once in a lifetime. This is your opportunity. Challenge yourself, explore, create. Belong to something you can be proud of. Do it for yourself. Excel, reach, become. This is who you are. This is Snow College.
Once again, welcome back inside of Rice-Eccles Stadium as Pineview takes it for the score, and they knot this one up at 7. There's another somewhat short kick going to be fielded at about the 9-yard line as Dixie will bring it up the left side, and pretty good blocking out there, out across the 35, the 40, the 45, and out of bounds at midfield, and knocked out of bounds right there.
Blake Ent's doing a little bit of everything. He's in on that tackle. Kick the ball, make the tackle. Very fine athlete there for Pineview.
So here we go the other way. Dixie with an opportunity. They have a short field. And Takao nowhere to go on that one. He was going to go right, tried to cut it back left. And a pretty nice tackle in the backfield right there. So a loss of a couple on the play, back right at the 50-yard line. It'll be second down and about 12 yards to go for Pineview. Again, Takao standing at his own 45. Drifts back to pass, looking. Going to go out to the left side and overshoots his intended receiver. Tried to throw kind of a back shoulder pass, and the coverage was there. And it'll set up a third down and 12 to go.
That back shoulder fade is a kind of a play that's worked its way in the football scene the last few years, and very effective. Just overthrew that one just a little.
So third down and 12 for Dixie. Takao again back to pass. Stands in the pocket, looks, and overshoots the intended receiver at about the 40-yard line. Pass just a little bit high. So it'll bring up a fourth down.
And Ken, both of those passes were just a little bit high, and even though you may not, it's coming down a little bit more, the snow is, as we can see it right here, and that ball gets a little slick. Sometimes it can get away from you just a little bit. So
Logan Schweitzer was the intended receiver, went up high to try and pull it in, but just too tall for him. So Dixie to kick this one away. High, short punt, and out of bounds near the 20. We'll see where the referee marks this. He'll start inside the 20, and then he'll work his way up the sideline. And it'll be 25-yard line. That's where Pineview takes over first down and 10. Here comes Cody Wilstead and his offensive unit out onto the field.
And as I mentioned, Ken, Dixie better find a way to get some heat on Wilstead, or he is going to show his stuff.
We mentioned he's got a host of receivers he can go to with Ants, Bangeter, Hosner, Allen, Miller. He spreads it around. Here's Tia, though. He'll start this one off. And going to lose maybe a yard at the 24-yard line. Everybody up front for Dixie does a pretty nice job filling the hole. And it will be a loss of 1. Second down and 11 for Pineview from the 24-yard line. Again, Wilstead coming in with 32 touchdowns on the year. 11 scores, and then he have to make it 12 on the year. Wilstead got a man open at the 30, catches it outside, gets a block, and he'll come across the 40, 45, and out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Pretty nice effort right there, Coach.
Yeah.
And I'll get you
30-yard gain on that play.
It'll be a first down, nonetheless. And Dixie quickly to the line of scrimmage. 49-yard line is where they'll mark it. Pineview side of the field. Tia, look at him work his way up across the middle, across the 45 and down at the 40. It'll be a gain of 11 and another first down, and he'll lose his helmet, so he'll come out of the game for one play. You lose your helmet out there, and you have to head to the sideline for a play. So he'll go out for one.
Boy, and they just keep the pressure on. Just don't take much time at all to get ready to snap that ball and go again.
Oh, here's a handoff, kind of the scat back, if you want to call him that, as he gets up inside the 45-yard line. Chase Peterson on the carry. He's going to pick up about 6 yards. It'll bring up a second down and 4. Kind of fun to watch two teams like this, Coach, that like to just get right back to the line of scrimmage as quick as they can. Here's trips to the far side, one receiver to the near side. Wilstead will roll to the far side. Looks, and dumps it off. Complete at the 26. That'll be a gain of 5. And it'll be a first down. And Pineview really starting to find their rhythm. They did on their last drive, and now they are just moving it right down the field.
Yeah, they're not up now to 69 yards passing, and after that first drive, they've just had all kinds of success.
Look at the bunch at the top side. They got 4 receivers up there, and Wilstead will keep it himself and dives to about the 16. And I'm sure that was a designed quarterback keeper to draw everybody out of the middle of the field, and he's going to get close to a first down.
You bet you'd spread everybody out and run that quarterback draw. He knew right where he was going to go with it, and I'm sure they blocked that accordingly. That just wasn't a all pick a hole. That was a design play and very effective for 9 yards.
In the waning moments of this first quarter, 30 seconds left, and we are tied at 7. Here's Wilstead over the man, middle, wide open, touchdown. Steve Bangeter over the middle. That's his 9th touchdown on the season, and he puts Pineview out on top, 13-7. As that was almost too easy, Coach. Right down the seam, just a pitch and catch. And now Pineview on for the point after try. Snap's a good one, as is the hold. Kick is up. And it's good. So again, with 24 seconds to go, Pineview leads at 14-7. We'll be back right after this timeout.
Say no to gym intimidation. Say yes to Planet Fitness. We're not a gym, we're Planet Fitness.
Your locally owned and operated Planet Fitness is a proud sponsor of our amazing high school athletic programs.
14-7 as Pineview has scored 14 unanswered to take the lead here over the Flyers. Dixie back deep to receive this one. Snow continues to fall here in the stadium. This one's going to sail right back to the 1 yard line where the Flyers will return it as they'll bounce it to the outside and up close to the 30 yard line. Pretty nice return.
Yeah, field position has not been a problem for either team here to start with. And here again, Dixie lines right up and is ready to go. And I think it's very important right here for Dixie to answer. Certainly want to flip this field position, but boy, it just looks so easy for Pineview in a lot of ways that Dixie's going to have to, you don't want to give him a 2-touchdown head start.
So a 70-yard field ahead of the Flyers. They'll come left side with it out across the 35-40 and into Pineview territory. What a great run to the 40, inside of the 35 and down to the 31, and I think it's going to come back.
Yeah, it's in that area where it looks like that it's probably holding. I mean, you just never know till you see the referee, but he's waving it back.
Yep.
Which is so unfortunate. What a good run.
So the holding call, the flag lying right on the 30-yard line.
I'm so impressed, Ken, with both of these teams, these two running backs. Not only they're big, strong kids, but they've got acceleration. He just went around that corner and turned it on, and people that looked like they had a good angle on him ended up having a bad angle on him because he just turned it up the field. Very talented youngsters here from St. George, Utah.
Yep, Trenton. I believe that's Trenton Miller wearing number 3, and he is a speedster. So after the 10-yard mark off, it'll be 1st and 20 from their own 20-yard line. As I was going to say, are they going to play an untimed down? They said no, the clock runs out. So at the end of the first quarter, entertaining to say the least, 14-7. Pineview leads it. We'll be back right after this 1-minute break.
For you, bronze package. Triple the price, doubles the contract.
You want a big muscle?
You want a big muscle?
I make your little muscle into big muscle.
Say no to gym intimidation. Say yes to Planet Fitness. We're not a gym, we're Planet Fitness.
Your locally owned and operated Planet Fitness is a proud sponsor of our amazing high school athletic programs. Our game today is sponsored by Dr. Robert Prince. Dr. Prince is the orthodontist that gives your high school something to really smile about. His office is located at 754 South Main Street in St. George. Call Dr. Prince for a free consultation and find out how easy and affordable it is to straighten your smile.
Welcome back to a very frigid Rice-Eccles Stadium here on the campus of the University of Utah, where Dixie will face a 1st down and 20 after the holding call, and that's too bad because Miller had it all the way down inside of Pineview territory. So Takao now, little draw, and breaking a tackle once, twice, 3 times, coach, up across the 30. That'll be a gain of about 11 yards. Pretty nice effort there by the running back.
That's what I was talking about, not just speed, not just power, but he's got the whole package, just bouncing off people. Yeah, the penalty, very unfortunate for Dixie. Pineview, I'm sure, takes a sigh of relief as penalties play a huge part in any football game.
A little more manageable now, 2nd down and 9 from the 31. And again, looking over the middle and a little bit short. Trying to find McLean Keenan at about the 35-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down. And 9 to go for Dixie.
The pocket started collapsing there on Takao, and he kind of had to get rid of that probably a little quicker than what he wanted, so did a good job just throwing it at the feet of that intended receiver just so nothing bad happens.
So on a 3rd down and 9, Takao again standing at his own 25-yard line, takes the low snap, looks going down the I was just going to say down the seam, and it looked like maybe the defender hanging on a little tight over the back, and this is going to be a pass interference call.
Yeah, it looked like it to you, looked like it to me, it looked like it to both referees that were right there, so that's going to give Dixie another 1st down.
So we'll wait for the call and then the mark-off. So this will put the ball all the way out to the 46-yard line early here in the 2nd quarter.
At the 46-yard line.
And Takao will once again operate as he stands back at his own 40. Looks, got a man down that far side and just overshot that receiver at about the 30.
And boy, does he want that one back again. Again, because that receiver could have even turned that straight up the field rather than heading towards the sideline a little more, which kind of handcuffed him just a little bit. But boy, he was behind everyone by 5 yards, just could have thrown that one up and let him run underneath it.
Connor Aiken was the one he was looking for down that far sideline. And again, he'll send 3 receivers to the far side, 2 to the near side, as Takao stands all alone at his own 40-yard line. Now he'll bring the slot receiver up next to him. That's Miller. He'll give him the ball, and he'll work his way up inside for about a yard, and that's about it. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9 for the Flyers. Robertson coming up, making the stop with a little bit of help from his friends.
Not a great crowd here tonight, Ken, from either side, but that's a long ways to come to go from the sun to the snow and watch a football game.
As the snow does continue to fall lightly here in the stadium. 3rd down, and we'll call it a short 9, almost 8 yards to go. Takao stands in the pocket. Going to float it for his receiver. And look at that one-handed catch. And this is going to go for a touchdown. That's as pretty a catch as you're going to see. That's one that you'll see on SportsCenter.
And it would have been an interference call even if he wouldn't have caught it. The reason he could only get one hand is because the defensive back had a hold of his other hand and wouldn't let him bring it up. But so he just reaches out with one hand and says, "Thank you very much." What a catch.
And guess who it is? Brett Barbin. The kid can flat out play the game, had 9 touchdowns coming into this ball game. It's a defensive pass interference, so they will obviously get the touchdown out of it, and they are 1 extra point away from tying this thing up. Wow, what a catch, Coach.
Yeah, that's just incredible. You know, you work on those in practice, Ken, trying to have those one-handed catches just as far as fundamentals, and boy, he delivered that time. Reaching out and grabbing that ball in the cold, slick weather. That just makes it even tougher. What a catch.
So we're tied up at 14 with 10:05 to go. We'll be back right after this short break.
We feel that when clients come to us, the most important thing up front is to take the stress out of a highly stressful environment, to be able to create transparency and to create a relationship of trust where they know that we're going to take care of them every step of the way. That's what's most important to us. And in the end, we've delivered on our promises.
So we wondered if the bad weather would affect this ball game. And up to this point, Coach, you can say no, as these two teams so far putting on an offensive show. 14-14, and we are just not quite 2 minutes into the 2nd quarter. Barban with a great catch as Amon Takau put it on the money. And you talk about Wilstead being able to really throw a pretty ball. Takau can throw the pretty ball as well.
Yeah, and Ken, you know, these teams both coming from St. George, you know, they're not used to this cold weather. Now, we've had one heck of a nice fall in the state of Utah completely, and it has been awfully nice weather just about everywhere. But down in St. George especially, all of a sudden come up here to this kind of weather, and boy, it doesn't seem to make either one of them flinch.
McLean Keenan to kick this thing off from the 45 of Pineview as they assess that penalty on the kickoff. And Coach, you probably know the rules better than I do. That was a pass interference call, so they assessed it on the kickoff, which is a little unusual. I thought you just decline it, take the score.
That's absolutely what I thought was, so it shows you I might not get very good on my rules test. Not that I ever did, but still, that surprises me. Now, you sure there wasn't a penalty on that extra point?
Then maybe there was, but they moved it clear to the 45. Yeah, that's a 15-yarder.
Yeah,
so.
Interesting.
So, Pano Tiatia on the carry out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. It's Pineview's time now to answer, or at least their turn, as they try to move the ball 80 yards up the field. We are tied at 14 apiece here from Rice-Eccles Stadium in the snow.
Second down, 8 yards to go.
Kind of gets you in the holiday spirit. Or at least it got me looking for some warm clothes before we headed up here today. Second down and 8. Wilstead out in the flat, complete to his receiver to the 28-yard line. Going to be a yard short. I believe that was Hodsner that made the catch out in the flat. He moves it up to the 29, we'll call it. Third down and 1. As Pineview now looks to the sideline for the call. Bladen Hosner wears number 1. You'll see they will split 2 receivers to the far side, 1 here to the near side as Wilstead will call for it. And he'll give it off to his big fullback, Tiatia, and he rumbles out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 13 on the carry. Boy, what a luxury to have him in the backfield with you, Coach.
Unbelievably so. Now 65 yards rushing for Pineview, sitting on 92 yards throwing the ball. So the offense is starting to build up.
4 wide here, 2 to the far side, 2 to the near side. Tiatia stands to the right of Wilstead as he will take the snap and he'll look to throw it. Going to be flushed out of the pocket and he's going to go down. He'll be sacked all the way back at about the 28-yard line. I believe that's Tyler Archibald.
And as I mentioned, Ken, that's going to be minus 12. That's going to be a 12-yard sack.
22-yard. It'll be 2nd and 22. You're right. Wow. You don't see Wilstead go down very often in the backfield.
No, but you've heard me say several times, unless Dixie gets some pressure on him, that's the only way I know that you're going to slow this kid down is getting that kind of pressure on him in the backfield.
So great job up front by the Flyers as they look to bring some pressure again. Wilstead back to pass. Got a man open over the middle. Complete at the 35, 40, 45, 50. And he's going to get the first down marker all the way to the 46-yard line. He needed 22, and he's going to get about 24 out of it. So it'll be first down and 10. Pretty nice effort right there.
Yeah, and he just steps back there and effortlessly just throws the ball. Doesn't matter if you got 22 yards to go or not.
Here's the give. Tiatia off the right tackle ahead for a gain of about 3 to the 43-yard line.
Tackled by number 37, Pakahua, and number 52,
As we approach 7 minutes to go here in the first half, as we are tied at 14 apiece. As these two teams squaring off. 8-2 Pineview, 8-4 Dixie, looking for the opportunity to play in the state championship game next week. Wilstead looks to pass, keeps it himself. Will step up the sideline and out of bounds at the 34-yard line, and that'll be enough for a first down.
looks like
obviously nobody open downfield.
Yeah, it looks like they say he's going to step out right at the 35, but it is going to be enough for a first down as well.
So they'll move the chains. And it will be 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. They'll stack the receivers on either side, 4 wide. Here's Wilstead, back to pass. Looks, still looks. And he's going to go, tries to go to the end zone, and is it picked? We'll wait and see if he was in bounds. They say yes, they're going to give him the interception. Wow.
And you know, we're not going to have the luxury of replay here tonight. I thought he was out of bounds, but I'm a long ways up here. And so what an incredible catch. They ran into each other, DB and receiver. DB did a great job of making a play on the ball.
I believe it was R.J. Wilgar that made the catch right at the 2-yard line, and there was a flag on the play, which went against Pineview. So Dixie will obviously decline the penalty, and they'll take over 1st down and 10. You know, there was some contact down near the 5-yard line.
That's what I say. They did run into each other, but no call.
So a great acrobatic catch by Wilgar down at the 2, and it sets up a 1st and 10 for Dixie coming the other way. As Takao will take it out of his own end zone. And here we go, up the middle, across the 10, the 15, the 20. It's a foot race out to the midfield stripe, to the 40, to the 30, and they're not going to catch him. He is going to go all the way for the score. And Trenton Miller, 98 yards for the touchdown, and Dixie back on top. You were talking about it on the last possession, Coach, about how Dixie has got some speedsters in the backfield, and you just saw it right there.
Well, Ken, sometimes that's real effective, especially down at your own goal line, because the defense wants to get a safety on you. They want to jump in there and get in the backfield in a hurry. So Dixie ran that little quick trap on the inside where they just let one of those down linemen go and then pull a guard from the offside. And once you do break through the line of scrimmage, when they're all up there like that, the result happened that just happened on that play. And what speed shown there by Miller to scamper 98 yards and put that thing in the end zone.
Point after is up and good. So with 6:18 to go here in the first half, Dixie back on top 21-14. We'll be back right after this quick break.
Our game today is sponsored by Dr. Robert Prince. Dr. Prince is the orthodontist that gives your high school something to really smile about. His office is located at 754 South Main Street in St. George. Call Dr. Prince for a free consultation and find out how easy and affordable it is to straighten your smile.
So how about that, 98 yards for Miller. There was one man to beat, and it was just a foot race once they got to the midfield stripe, and he just turned on the Jets. And just like that, Dixie comes back out on top. Here's the kick into the end zone. This will be a touchback, and Pineview will bring it out to their own 20. Dixie got on the board first in this one. They led 7-0, and then Pineview answered with 14 straight unanswered. And now Dixie's come back, Coach, and they've scored 14 straight unanswered. So
yeah, and you all of a sudden your rushing stat goes to 179 yards after 98 yards on a play. That helps your yards per carry in a hurry.
Here's Panotia off that left tackle. Bangs his way forward, and he gets about 8 hard-earned yards out close to the 28-yard line. Pineview's turn now to see if they can get back on track.
Tackled by number 65, Emilio Gutierrez.
There was a sideline warning on that 98-yard touchdown run as well that went against Pineview. No penalty as far as yards. Trips to the near side here for the Panthers as Wheelstead stands at his own 23-yard line. And once again, to the big back Tia. He will take it ahead for a gain of about 6 yards and a first down.
21, the inside linebacker, Chris Hall. And number 36, Nolan Stevenson, the outside linebacker. First down.
Entertaining football when you can see this kind of offense. This may be a game where the last team to have the ball will win.
Wilstead looking, going to float to his left a little bit, and now just floats it out, looking for his receiver near midfield, and it was just a little bit overthrown. He threw a pretty nice ball, but just not there for the receiver. Trying to catch as many numbers as we can, folks. We apologize if we miss one here and there. We are up on the press level, just under the press box, a little ways away. We're normally in a high school booth. It's not so bad. Here's Tia up the middle to the 41-yard line. This is going to be a gain of about 7.
Third down, 2 yards to go.
Both teams around, or at least Pineview now, around 200 yards total offense, so they're coming back as predicted.
Tight end on the right side. Receivers 2 to the far side, 1 wide to the near side. Tia doing his best to try. Tia his best to try and get to the first down marker, and I don't think he quite got there. He's going to be about a half a yard short. So decision time here for Coach Hosner.
And a big decision, Ken, because if you got plenty of time for Dixie to go in and score. If you don't make it, yet you certainly want to, at least tie this thing up at halftime. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it.
Looks like they will. Obviously, Tia in the backfield, stands to the right of Wilstead. 2 receivers near side, 1 to the far side. Let's see if they go to the big back, and they do. He'll have the first down and then some, as he's going to get across the midfield stripe and inside of Dixie territory all the way down to about the 34-yard line. About 22, 23 yards on the carry. And when you've got a back like him in the backfield, it makes that decision to go for it just a little bit easier.
You're not a kid, and then that goes for, gets Pineview over 100 yards rushing here in the ball game as well. So they're sitting on 119 yards total offense, over 100 passing and 100 running the ball.
So again, Wilstead takes the ball out of the shotgun, got a man. Little slant pass and complete, close to the first down marker. We'll wait for the spot here.
It is a first down for Pineview at the 23-yard line.
So they say it is a first down. And here come the Panthers from their own, or I should say from the Dixie 23. Here's Pano. Tia working his way out that right tackle ahead to about the 19. It'll be a gain of 4. And we'll bring up second down and 6.
Second down, 6 yards to go.
And if you are Pineview, you probably don't want to let Dixie have another chance with any time left, because they've shown to be very effective offensively as well.
So here is the fake handoff to Tia. Wilstead will keep it himself, and he'll go for 9 yards down to the 10-yard line. It'll be a first down, and it will set up the Panthers for a 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. Clock continues to run. We're down to 3:10 to go here in this first half. Pineview looking to tie this game up as they trail by a score. 3 wide here to the near side. They'll have a slot receiver as well, and 1 wide to the top of the screen. Wilstead stands all alone at the 15. He'll take the snap. He'll roll to that left side. Now looks back to the right. Going to have to scramble. He does. Now takes it, tucks it, runs, and gets out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. That's a pretty smart play, Coach. There's no need to try and force it into the coverage.
Yeah, without
Dixie
a
did
doubt.
a great job back there in the secondary.
Yeah, not only did Dixie play the great defense, but that's one where a lot of high school quarterbacks will make a mistake, try to force something. He understands he's got a lot of weapons around him. He's got 3 more downs to get a touchdown, so very smart play.
And now, timeout's going to be taken on the field by Pineview. We'll take it with them. 21-14 with 2:42 to go. Pineview with a second down and goal. When we come back right after this.
The official stats partner of the UHSAA.
For you, bronze package. Triple the price, doubles the contract.
You want a big muscle?
You want a big muscle?
I make your little muscle into big muscle.
Say no to gym intimidation. Say yes to Planet Fitness. We're not a gym, we're Planet Fitness.
Your locally owned and operated Planet Fitness is a proud sponsor of our amazing high school athletic programs.
So as we come back live, Pineview with a second down and goal from the 8-yard line, looking to try and tie this one up. And here's the gift, a big Bono Tia, and he's in for the score, 8 yards, as he just comes on a little counter back across that left tackle and virtually untouched into the end zone. So we are an extra point away from tying this thing up. Enjoying this one, Coach?
Absolutely.
Alongside Dean Fowles, I'm Ken Nielsen. And we are working Aaron to death here with us.
And trying to stay warm. There's quite a bit of snow that's fallen out there. Hasn't accumulated yet, but...
here's the point after try. It's up. And it's good.
Just very impressed with how these two teams have. We have not had a turnover in the ball game so far. They're just pitch and catch as if they're in the nice sunshine down in St. George. So credit to both teams here.
And again, our thanks to all of our sponsors that are helping us out here on this 3AA semifinal game. As you see the ads roll through and our drop down, we appreciate USU of Eastern. They're with us here tonight, as well as Planet Fitness, Snow College, great institution as well, Sunrise Tire, Robert Prince, DDS, Academy Mortgage. Also, we want to thank Durham, Pinnegar, and Jones that have graciously agreed to help us out here. And a great game. We hope you are enjoying this one from somewhere warm. We hope you're inside in the easy chair and watching this one, as it is cold here, to say the least.
It's got to be 10 degrees colder over on my side of this broadcast than it is yours, that's for sure.
We've got the hand warmers out, trying to keep the fingers warm to even control some of the stats and the computer things that are going on here.
To give people a little idea, I've got to keep the tip of this pen inside the hand warmer between as I write down these stats, otherwise it won't write.
Just looking here at the weather here on the iPhone as the kick is going to come away here from the 40. This is returnable. Going to be taken at the 11-yard line up that left seam. A little bit of running room back across the middle. And now coming back to the left side and dives to the 37-yard line. Pretty nice return, to say the least.
This Connor Aiken has done a great job with returning the ball. Just about broke that. He certainly could have got more yards than what he got right there if he would have just kept running, but his little sidestep and dipsy-do just about got him to break that for a touchdown. So what a talent that kid is.
Coach, as I mentioned, the weather right now, obviously 30 degrees and snow, and it says a little bit later, around 8 o'clock, there's a good chance for rain. And I can tell you right now, they'd rather play in this light falling snow than if the rain starts to fall.
Yeah, because it would be freezing rain, and it would make that one slick turf down there as well. You know, this isn't a different thing for these guys to play on the turf either. Both of them play on turf field down in St. George, so this isn't one of those they play on grass all year and then come down and have a different situation for them.
Timeout taken on the field by Dixie. Let's us take it with them as we are knotted up at 21 apiece from Rice-Eccles Stadium. We'll be back right after this short break.
We feel that when clients come to us, the most important thing up front is to take the stress out of a highly stressful environment, to be able to create transparency and to create a relationship of trust where they know that we're going to take care of them every step of the way. That's what's most important to us. And in the end, we've delivered on our promises.
I got the result.
And as we come back live, Dixie with the ball again on their own 37-yard line. Miller around that right side. Taken down after a gain of a couple yards. There's a flag here on the near side, or I should say down that left hash mark at the 38. We'll wait for the call. As they still talk things over down there. 2:18 left here in the first half. As we have seen some great plays here tonight. Chop block's going to be called against Dixie, and I think that is a 15-yarder, is it not, Coach?
Yes, I believe it is. Third
Again,
penalty on Dixie here this evening. You know, and those are the penalties that are in place to protect the health of these young men. You certainly don't want to have any of them injure a leg, a knee, anything that can have a lasting effect. So, but a 15-yard penalty, Ken, is a huge penalty. Boy, it is hard to overcome. I should say, at least for most teams, both of these teams seem to do a pretty good job to overcome them.
And this one's going to move the ball all the way back down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. So sets up I think they'll replay the down and they will get to it. It'll be first down and 23 to go for the Flyers. We are tied at 21 apiece, and now the officials are going to stop things once again.
Yeah, I was thinking that was a line of scrimmage mark-off, but it's been a long time for the rules, so just sit back and let those people with the white hat out there sort things out.
So again, we hope you enjoy this one here tonight on a Thursday night edition of high school football. Scaluzza producing this one here tonight for all of the outlets that are carrying it, whether you're picking us up on KSL or the Deseret News. A good one going here between these two southern schools, Dixie and Pineview, and now Takao rolls right side, looking, going to go down that far side, and got a man wide open at the 50-yard line. Boy, did he throw a laser, Coach, right on the money.
Wow is right. Needed 23. 26, just dropped that right in where he needed to.
McLean, I believe Keenan was the receiver that made the catch. And it sets up a first down. Miller, Trenton Miller, maybe a yard on the carry to the 48. It'll be second down and 9 now for the Flyers. And still plenty of time. A minute 15 to go here in the half. And they'll float one out here in the flat, and the receiver just couldn't quite hang on to it. And it'll be third down and 9.
Third down, 9 yards to go.
So that'll stop the clock with a minute 11 to go here in the half. And again, the snow starting to pick up again here in the stadium. I'm not sure if you can see it falling on your screen, but it is a cold one.
I can't see it against the bleachers that are here, the seating in the stadium, but you look outside against the black and you can sure see it come down.
Here's the cow over the middle, ball tipped, caught. Not sure, did he hang on to it? If he did, that was an incredible catch, because did he ever take a pop? McLean Keenan made the catch and then really paid for it right at the 33, hangs on and sets up a first down for the Flyers. And once again, Coach, we have seen great play after great play in this one tonight.
Yeah, that's when you go over to the middle, had to reach up for it, knew he was going to get banged and still concentrated and cut the ball.
Takao once again stands at the 41. Got a man open out in the flat left side and out of bounds at the 22-yard line. I know the receiver was trying to stop to cut it back up, but that worked out better for him. As he slid out of bounds, he stops the clock right at the 22-yard line, and it's enough for a first down.
First down, 10 yards to go at the 22.
Jaden Harrison, I believe, on the catch. So they got time now to look to the sideline and get the play that they want on this one. Dixie looking to reclaim the lead once again here tonight. Knotted at 21, at least in field goal range at this point. Here's Takao. He'll take the snap, fakes the pass, hands it off to Trenton Miller. Look at him bull over the linebacker and gets to the 11-yard line and a first down. Just put his shoulder pads down, Coach, and got an extra 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I'd want to get in front of him either. You know, that stops the clock momentarily to move the chains, and so just a big, strong kid with great acceleration.
Oh, and now I was going to say, the official going over to talk to the Pineview sideline. And that, wow, that's the second flag on the sideline, Coach, from Pineview. That'll cost them 5 this time. The first time was a warning. This time they flag him for 5 yards, and this will move the ball down to the 6-yard line, and it sets up a first down and goal as they wind the clock with 34 seconds to go. So it'll come near side and out of bounds, close to the 3-yard line. Once again, Trenton Miller. Second down and goal, this time from the 3.
And he is so strong to get that stiff arm out there, Ken. He can just almost keep you from getting your hands in there to bring him down.
Clock is stopped with 16 seconds to go here. And again, Dixie afforded
and
with the...
I think they have 2 timeouts left, don't they, Ken, if I read that properly? So time's probably not going to be a real big issue here.
And here's the give. End around, flag comes in, and short. Flag comes in on the play. We'll have to wait, I believe. Jaden Harrison was the ball carrier on that end around. And this goes against, against Dixie. So this is a big penalty. Holding. So this is going to move the ball back all the way out to the 13-yard line. So, wow. Had it down near the 2-yard line. Now they're going to have to operate from out near the 13, 14-yard line.
I believe he even got right down inside the 1-yard line there, it looked like, and they threw that flag from where it happened, so 10-yard penalty, and wow, what a huge play is right there.
Dixie's going to take the timeout. We'll keep it right here as Coach Monkers wants to talk about this with his offensive unit. And we'll give you a chance here, Coach. You've got a second down and goal from the 13. 11 seconds. You've certainly got time for a couple of plays here. You've still got a timeout in your back pocket. What are you looking to call here?
Well, you do. You got, if you throw the ball quick, you've probably got a chance for 3 plays. So I look for him to maybe roll the quarterback out and give him a run-pass option right here. But what you don't want him to do is come out here and just run, and then get rid of it. So I wouldn't you see some kind of a fade here, and I would not hesitate in giving the big fella the ball, especially if you get down to a 4th down situation.
So here's Amit Takao, takes the snap at his own 19 and goes into the end zone, complete, touchdown. Beautifully thrown ball. And once again, I believe that was Barban on the reception, as he is having quite a night here himself. He had the one-armed, one-hand catch coming down the sideline earlier in the game. And he now gives Dixie a 6-point lead, 27-21, as we await this point after. Snap's a good one, kick is up, and it's good.
And credit to Cal on that play. Ken, he just stood in there nice and calm, didn't panic, threw the ball right on the money. Easy touchdown.
So Dixie back out on top, 28-21 in this one. This is just a slugfest, to say the least. As 49 points on the board here between the two teams in the first half, and they're doing it in the snow. I mean, it's not collecting down on the field, but it continues to fall here in the stadium. And now with 6 seconds to go, Dixie, I'm sure, will be careful with the kick here, as they don't want to give Pineview a chance to return this one back for a score.
Well, I don't think you want to give Barban quarterback
Wilstead
a chance to throw that thing 60, 70 yards in the air and have a chance to score. So squib it on the ground, get somebody to touch it, run this clock out if you're Dixie. And Pineview, I'm sure they're saying, just give us one crack at it and we'll see what we can do.
So here we go. Once again, Dixie to kick this one away with 6 seconds to go here in the half. And this kick is not going to be returnable, as it will land on the U in Utah there in the end zone. And Pineview will come out for one play from their own 20-yard line. They trail it 28-21.
Ken, I've been fortunate enough to watch 3 ball games up here with the University of Utah so far this year from the other side, and I don't think I had over a T-shirt on in any of them. So this is, we got to get some heat up in this little area.
Wilstead will just take a knee, and that will bring the first half to a close. But boy, an entertaining one to say the least, as the Dixie faithful that are here in the stadium, they'll come to their feet and they'll cheer on their young men as they head to the tunnel. Once again, as you watch the 3AA semifinal, Dixie and Pineview right here from Rice Eccles. And we, again, appreciate all the good help from Scaluzza, KSL, Deseret News, all the different outlets that are streaming this one. So again, 28-21 is your halftime score. Stay with us, folks. We'll come back with our halftime numbers and a few other thoughts right after this.
Our game today is sponsored by Dr. Robert Prince. Dr. Prince is the orthodontist that gives your high school something to really smile about. His office is located at 754 South Main Street in St. George. Call Dr. Prince for a free consultation and find out how easy and affordable it is to straighten your smile.
We love purchase business in our office. This is, in our branch, this is what we strive to do, is we want to be number one in purchases. And we recognize that realtors, builders, affinity partners, they play a large role and a key role in making us successful. So we try to do everything we can to be able to deliver on our promises, to create events or opportunities to be able to just stay in front of them and to get to know them and just be a part of their business. We treat it as a true partnership.
Say no to gym intimidation. Say yes to Planet Fitness. We're not a gym, we're Planet Fitness.
Your locally owned and operated Planet Fitness is a proud sponsor of our amazing high school athletic programs.
And once again, welcome back inside of Rice-Eccles Stadium alongside Coach Dean Fowles. I'm Ken Nielsen, and on my other side, Aaron Felstead. Aaron is earning his money tonight as he's running our camera and producing this one as well here on the computer with the graphics and the commercials. And of course, back home, Mr. Mike Butler. We appreciate him and Scaluzza for all of the help as they do a great job broadcasting games throughout the state of Utah and helping schools out financially as well. If you get a chance to take a look at some of the things Scaluzza does, please do so, as they have been really, really good to work with. And if you're watching the stream alongside Deseret News KSL, good to have you with us here as we are in the first 3AA semifinal game here on a Thursday night. Tomorrow night, it will be Desert Hills and Hurricane. That'll be the other 3AA semifinal, and we suspect that one will be a good one as well. All four Southern schools in the semifinals this year. And some people may ask, gosh, how come they've got it all the way up here at Rice-Eccles Stadium? Well, as you mentioned, Coach, you have served your time. I shouldn't say served your time, but you were able to be a part of the Activities Association with the Executive Committee and also the Board of Trustees. And as you know, in order to secure the venues for these different sporting events, they've got to get into a contract as far as with University of Utah or Utah Valley or whoever it might be, months in advance. They've got to schedule these venues and secure them. And so this has been secured a long time ago, and it's not cheap to bring a state championship, or I should say games, to a venue like Rice-Eccles, and so they're kind of locked in to that. Had to keep them here for this game. I'm not sure what the plan is for next week, but we'll wait and see. It's just it's expensive, and but it's nice to be able to come to a venue like this. It's, you know, for these kids to be able to play here on a stadium floor like this, that's pretty special.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that you schedule, as you said, months in advance. The venues are not cheap, I can tell you that. and you don't know till last week who's going to be here. So it's kind of hard to just trade everything that you've worked for something totally different in a week's time.
Yeah.
So, you tell teams that right off the bat. And, as football teams, you kind of tell your team to start the year, hey, let's do what we can. And if we do things right and have success, we'll get to go up and play on the carpet up at Rice Stadium. And it's a big deal for these kids. They just enjoy coming up here in this big stage and playing right here. On the other hand, you look at from St. George, kind of a stormy night, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that did stay home because of that long ways to travel. So, it's catch-22, it's both ways, but bottom line is it's been set for that long, and you just can't change it in this short amount of time. So I'm sure both teams are saying we're glad to be here.
And we appreciate all of you tuning in here tonight to watch this one. It's been our pleasure to bring it to you. A little chilly here in the stadium, but has been very, very entertaining, Coach. As we look at some of the numbers from the first half you've been keeping here, you're going to see, with one team with 28, obviously Dixie, and 21 for Pineview, there's been some yardage gained here tonight.
Yeah, look at Panotia. I've got him right at 100 yards and 2 touchdowns so far in this ball game, and that's a good stat for anybody at this time. Quarterback Wilstead, 9 for 13, 126 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Entz, their leading receiver, with 5 catches for 63 yards. And stats are just as good or better even on the other side, where you have Miller. He's got 155 yards so far. Wow. Running the ball and 1 touchdown. Takao, 7 for 12, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it's an incredible thing when both of these teams come up here and perform this way offensively. And so, we expect nothing different here in the second half. And, we don't know all of these kids personally. We haven't had a chance to watch them all the time, so we don't know a whole lot of names and things like that. The only people that you really get their name called are those people who are touching the ball, those kinds of things. But I do give special credit here, and I'm sure those coaches do too, for the people up front, because that's where it's won or lost. And not a lot of glory comes from those positions, but as these coaches are, they certainly get to appreciate those young men up front. So both of them having good games. Nobody's losing this game so far. Both teams are out here still trying to win.
And as you can see, both teams making their way back out onto the turf here at Rice Eccles. So with that being said, we'll step away for just a moment more. Again, we want to recognize all of our advertisers that are with us here this evening. We appreciate those businesses that help kick in to bring both Pineview and Dixie football here to you tonight. So with that being said, we'll be back to Rice Eccles right after this.
For you, bronze package. Triple the price, doubles the contract.
You want a big muscle?
You want a big muscle?
I make your little muscle into big muscle.
Say no to gym intimidation. Say yes to Planet Fitness. We're not a gym, we're Planet Fitness.
Your locally owned and operated Planet Fitness is a proud sponsor of our amazing high school athletic programs. Our game today is sponsored by Dr. Robert Prince. Dr. Prince is the orthodontist that gives your high school something to really smile about. His office is located at 754 South Main Street in St. George. Call Dr. Prince for a free consultation and find out how easy and affordable it is to straighten your smile.
We feel that when clients come to us, the most important thing up front is to take the stress out of a highly stressful environment, to be able to create transparency and to create a relationship of trust where they know that we're going to take care of them every step of the way. That's what's most important to us. And in the end, we've delivered on our promises.
So we're about ready to go here to start this second half. And if it's as entertaining as the first half, we're in for a great finish here tonight. These teams got here with wins in the quarterfinals. Dixie come from behind to defeat Stansbury 49-42 last week. And Pineview, they were a winner over Cedar 45-10. Desert Hills that will play tomorrow, they had a 56-13 win over Bear River. And Hurricane, who will be Desert Hills' opponent, they were 32-15 winners over Juan Diego. As far as coming into this whole thing, Stansbury was the number 1 seed out of the north, Dixie being the number 4 out of the south. And I think a lot of people thought Stansbury was going to win this, or at least win that game. And Dixie came charging from behind to score 28 in the fourth quarter to upset Stansbury in this one. Pineview's the number 2 seed out of the south, and they defeated, as I mentioned, Cedar, who was the number 6. Desert Hills is the number 1 seed coming from the south, and as I mentioned, they'll play Hurricane, who's the number 3.
And Ken, a lot of times you get kids to believe in that it's fate or destiny, whatever you want to call it. If you're Dixie High School, you were at Stansbury and scored 28 points to none in that fourth quarter to win, you've almost got to believe that's the case, and they're playing like it here tonight. But it's going to be an entertaining second half, and I don't think this will be over till the end.
So here we go, as Dixie will kick this one away a yard into the end zone. So this will come out to the 20-yard line. First down and 10. Cody Wilstead and his offense will make their way out onto the field. They trail 28-21. And, Coach, do you dare venture a guess as to how many points you might see total when this one's over?
I think you'll see just a lot similar to what we did. I wouldn't be surprised you're in the high 40s to mid 50s for either of these teams. I don't expect, they both play pretty good defense, so it's not like it's just going to explode. But
and immediately, Wilstead out of the pocket. He is almost sacked, and he has to throw the ball away, and I think they're going to get him for intentional grounding. I didn't see a receiver here on the near side. He threw it out close to the 40-yard line.
And obviously the rule is not the same in college as it is in high school. So those who would say he was outside the tackle box and threw it past the line of scrimmage, he did, but the rule is different in high school than it is in college.
So they will move this to the 15, and it'll be a loss of down. So now it is second down and 15 for Pineview. Now they're going to mark it. Going to mark it all the way back to the 7.
And I guess I'm not understanding that.
Was it a spot foul, Coach?
Well, it must be from the spot that he threw the ball at. Yeah, because he was about the 15-yard line, and that's going all the way back to there. So it looks to me like they're taking it like 8 or 9 yards back from the spot. I don't know exactly what it was, but I would imagine that's what the penalty is.
So now it is going to be second down and about 24 yards to go for the first down as they mark it right at the 6-yard line. And they'll give it to the back, Tia, as he works his way out for a couple to about the 8 or 9 yard line. So that'll bring up a second down. Third down, excuse me, you're exactly right. As that was a loss of down on the first one. So third down. Back to pass, Wilstead. Boy, gets rid of it just as he got hit. And does the receiver ever take a shot? And they say the ball come free. No, they're going to mark it down. And now here comes a late flag in on the play, Coach. And I'm not sure if this will be a personal foul, maybe some kind of I don't know if you call it a hit on a defensive receiver. That's all I can figure. We'll wait for the call. Nope, now they say it was incomplete.
But they still may call the penalty. I don't know exactly what that is, and as we say, we don't get the benefit of the replay so that we can see exactly what happened right there, but I can't imagine what else it would be other than maybe leading with your head or something. Who knows? Maybe they'll pick the flag up. We'll see.
Bladen Hosner was the intended receiver. And the near sideline doesn't like the call, as the pass was ruled incomplete. That they're going to, the flag is going to be hitting a defenseless receiver. And I don't know, Coach, as you mentioned, we can't see the replay. It was a pretty good lick laid on Hosner. Whoop, and now here comes a flag again. And who's this going to be on? They marked the ball up to the 23, and then that official over on the far hash threw his flag about 30 feet in the air. So we'll wait for this call.
Well, he was standing over there like he was standing by the Pineview players, as if a Pineview player may have said something to him, but we'll just have to see what's sorted out right here.
Wow.
That's exactly what happened. Obviously, a Pineview player had said something that that referee didn't like. And so, boy, what a costly mistake that is, because you were out there close to a first down.
So they'll move the ball back now to the 11. Unsportsmanlike called on the Panthers.
When that's a couple of penalties in a row, that one really hurt.
Wilstad out of the shotgun again, takes it at his own 6, drifts back to the 1 yard line, airs it out down the far sideline, and too big for the intended receiver.
And as they can see at home, I'm sure a little bit right now, Ken, that snow is really starting to come.
Yep.
Pretty good lick right now and could have a huge factor on this game.
I apologize, the receiver out of bounds on that far side. It might have been Colton Miller, I'm not sure. But too big, and now it's going to bring up a 4th down for the Panthers, and they are going to be forced to kick this one away from their own goal line. So Dixie looking to get great field position out of this one, as the receiver standing back at midfield waiting for the kick. Well, here's the left footer, gets it away. It's going to bounce out about the 43-yard line, and they will let this one go. And this is going to work out pretty good for Pineview. That's going to roll all the way to the 37-yard line. That's about a 51, 52-yard punt after the roll. So Dixie didn't quite get the field position they were hoping to out of that one. Nonetheless, they'll start at their own 37-yard line, 1st down and 10. Ammon Takau once again.
Which I consider pretty good field position in anyone's book. So there again, you look back on it, that penalty right there may have been a huge play in this game.
Takau will keep it himself off the right tackle ahead to about the 42, nearly 5 yards on the carry. Sets up a 2nd down and 5 for the Flyers. First possession of the game for Dixie, Coach.
It's not getting any warmer up here, Ken.
And Takau will hand it ahead to his back. Nowhere to go, as the defense was certainly there for Pineview.
Ball carrier is number 3, Trey Miller. Tackled by number 54, Goebel. At number 22, Miller. 2nd down, 5 yards to go.
So a big down here for the Flyers as they have it 3rd down and 5 from their own 42-yard line. They'd certainly like to keep the drive alive after the good field position. Flakes are getting bigger, Coach. You might see it start to accumulate on the floor. Takau going to float it down the left sideline and out of bounds, incomplete. Just nobody open, and didn't want to take the sack. So that'll bring up 4th down for Dixie, and they'll kick this one away.
And Ken, ever since that big hit, I think that might have ironed both teams just a little bit, getting a little more hostile down there, and both teams showing some great defense right there. So maybe defense will be the name of the second half. And yeah, for you folks at home, you can see the flakes pretty good across even into the stadium seats, and so it's not looking anything but winter.
So here's the kick, kind of a sideways wobbler, and it's going to be a very effective kick, as it's going to go inside of the 10 and roll dead right near the 8. And you see an official go down on that sideline as obviously the field's starting to get slick.
Well, right before the half, you saw one of the players slip just before he went out of bounds. So I think that could turn into be a pretty good factor here before this is over. That ball's got to be getting wet even when they trade him in and out to try to get a dry ball. This weather is going to be a big factor. And you hate to see weather have an impact on any game. You want to see the players decide what happens, but that's the way it is when you start playing ball in November.
4 wide for Pineview to start this possession. 2 to the far side, 2 to the near side. Wilstead all alone at the goal line. And he'll throw one out here to the near side. And incomplete. The receiver tried to come back on that back shoulder throw, but could not haul it in. Preston Allen, the intended receiver, on the throw. So 2nd down and 10, and again, they'll stay with the 4 wide. Wilstead in the pocket. Got a man wide open. It's caught and complete, and then taking a huge hit out near the 24-yard line. I believe that's Blake Entz.
Wow.
If that was number 6, that was a great catch, and then hanging on after a big hit.
Yeah, that was absolutely an incredible catch there.
Here's the throw out to the far side. Right along the sideline, another great catch, a gain of about 7. And these receivers, Coach, showing that they've got some great hands. Colton Miller on the catch. And now on a 2nd down and 3. Tia, I believe, is going to pick up the 1st down. He is. They'll move moving the ball here as they've got it out to the 35-yard line. They'll come with 4 receivers, Coach, here to the near side. We saw this before, and we saw Wilstead running it. This time he will throw it into traffic and over the head of the intended receiver and out of bounds. Blake Entz, the intended receiver, and there was 3 different defenders around him.
Got to be kind of hard to toss that ball. As wet as it is.
So Wilstead once again at his own 30. He'll hand it off and straight ahead. Tia picks up a yard, and that's about it.
Both defenses have shown up here, at least so far here in the second half, and you wonder whether weather conditions have something to do with that. But so it may be a low scorer here. Different than what I predicted anyway.
Excuse me, Coach. 3rd down and 9. Here is Wilstead. Has a man open and complete. He throws a bullet to about the 48-yard line. And Colton Miller is the receiver. He just kind of curls in, makes a nice catch, and gets down to the turf. And this drive continues.
That was a bullet, Ken. That had to be hard to catch. That and letting into your body probably hurt.
New set of downs.
Tia. Snowflakes really coming down now.
I was going to say, Tia to the right of Wilstead. He takes the ball, and he'll get ahead for a gain of 12 into Dixie territory to the 40-yard line. And Pineview now starting to find their rhythm once again on offense. Again, Dixie leads it by 7.
They just keep coming at you and coming at you.
Wilstead flushed out of the pocket, rolls to his left, thinks about throwing it, now keeps it himself and dives close to the 1st down, right at the 30-yard line, and I believe he's got it. So a new set of downs, once again, inside of the 30, they say. 7:29 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Pineview looking to tie this up with a touchdown and an extra point. And again, 1 wide receiver at the top of your screen. They've got 3 to the bottom, 1 in the slot. Wilstead keeps it himself. Will go around that left side, and pretty nice tackle made there by the defender. Wilstead, it looked like, was going to get 4, 5, 6 more yards.
And I'd like to get a number on him, Ken. 51, it looks like.
Might have been 55. We'll see if we can.
I can't tell that second number, but what a play. Boy, that was a fantastic. He just hung on to him. Looked like he was going to get away and pulled him right down for a 2-yard gain.
Nonetheless, 2nd down and 8. Wilstead with Tia to his right. Too wide to the far side, and now he'll just reach around, hand it to Tia, and he'll hurdle over one tackler and dives ahead to the 23-yard line, sets up a 3rd down and about 4.
162 yards rushing now for the Pineview Panthers with 161 yards throwing the ball, so they're just about dead level here.
And Dixie Flyer slow to get up. Looks like they get him up, he's going to head for the sideline.
Injury to number 55, Jeff Martinez.
And it is Jeff Martinez. I believe he's the one that made the nice tackle on Wilstead just a couple plays ago. He'll come to the sideline. So here we go, big play for Pineview as they look to tie this thing up. Here's the give, Pano Tia, and he drives ahead to the 20, and he's going to be short of the 1st down by about a yard. And I just don't think Pineview will kick a field goal here. I think they'll go for it.
Yeah, without a doubt. 4-down territory, and I think you will see one of two things. Either Tia is going to get it, or Wilstead's going to pull it out and try to get that 1st down himself.
Tia, he'll have the 1st down and more as he heads down to the 5-yard line. That'll be a gain of 15 on a 4th down and 1. Once again, what a luxury to have a back like Pano Tia that you can go to when you need the tough yards. And not only does he pick up the short yardage, but takes it clear down to the 5 to set up a 1st and goal.
And he's in that secondary so quick, getting onto that next level.
There's Wilstead rolling to his right. Now he'll cut it back to his left, heads for the end zone. He's going to make it. Touchdown, Cody Wilstead. And he gets Pineview back to within 1. Pretty nice read by the quarterback as he rolls right side, and the defense shifted so far with him that he was able to cut it back against the grain and get in.
Great vision that time. A lot of times that's the best way for a quarterback to pick up yardage, is getting back against the grain, and he just let the blocking develop. Nice little crease, headed back against the grain for an easy touchdown.
So again, the Panthers on for the point after try. And now a flag comes from the near side, offsides against Dixie. Now this creates a little bit of an interesting situation for Coach Hosner, as you're going to put it at about the 1.5-yard line.
Could completely change the dynamics of this game if you do have an extra point, either to or miss an extra point. But looks like he's going to stay out there and kick it anyway.
Going to stay for the 1.
I'm sure it's very, very tempting with Tia in the backfield to not just hand it to him and see if we can't get a lead here.
And a little bit risky, as I shouldn't say risky, but
sure, it's
the
risky.
snow coming,
You
a little
bet.
bit slick with the ball. Here's the snap. The hold is down. The kick is up. And it's good. So with that, the Pineview Panthers have tied this up.
You can see a little bit of accumulation out there on the field of a little bit of snow. It's just kind of getting a little light touch to it out there. So, yeah, it is risky when you have to have a good snap, a good hold, and bring it up.
So with 5:38 to go, we are tied at 28. We'll be back after this short break. What a game, as we are tied up once again at 28. As the Panthers answered when they needed to right there, as the game got a little bit chippy there for a moment, or at least penalty-wise, moved them back and forth. But as far as the Pineview sideline, they feel like they have established a little bit of rhythm. And here is a little pooch kick over the top. Let's see if Dixie will field it. They do at the 33, up across the 35 and to the 39-yard line. So, Coach, I'll ask you, on a kick like that, are they just looking to kind of keep it from being returned long, or are they looking to try and recover that one?
Well, a couple of things. Dixie's return man has had great success returning the ball. He's been up to about that area. I think 37 may have been the least field position he's given Dixie. So why not? Maybe see if you can't fool him, get that ball bouncing on the ground where it's slick. Maybe you can recover it.
So here's Amon Takau once again back at the controls as he'll keep this one himself and works his way up close to the 43-yard line, a gain of about 4. So it'll be second down, and we'll call it 6. Again, got his running mate there with him, Trenton Miller, in the backfield.
That gives Dixie over 200 yards rushing here in the football game.
Trips to the far side. Wide receiver here to the near side. And they will go to Trenton Miller. Around that right side, and he's got room. Out across the 40 to the 30, the 20. As he keeps his feet, he does. This will go in for a touchdown. But, folks, I hate to burst your bubble if you're a Dixie fan. This one's coming back as there is a flag at the 44-yard line. What a great effort.
And you look at it and say he was able to get to the corner, and once he does, he just turns on the jets and down the sideline. And that's the second time that has happened. But if you're Pineview, you're saying that's the reason he got to the corner is because somebody held somebody else. But, boy, I'm sure impressed with this kid running the football, Ken. He can just, once he got to the corner, there was just no catching him.
So the 57-yard touchdown run comes back.
And a lot of times, Ken, as a coach, you have an influence on that call right there, because if you can see the opposition is going to get the corner on your sideline, everybody on that sideline's hollering, hold, hold, hold. So either way, it does come back.
Boy, big call in the game as it takes the touchdown off the board and now sets up a second down and 15 for Dixie. Trips to the near side, single wide to the far side. Here is the pitch to Miller. Trenton Miller coming up across the 35 to the 40 and to the 43-yard line. Pretty nice effort, as he's going to pick up about 9 yards on the carry.
You know, and that only goes down as a 10-yard penalty, Ken, when in essence that's a 65-yard penalty and takes points off the board. Huge penalty.
Big call here for Coach Blaine Mockers and the Flyers as he faces 3rd down and 6. Miller trying to go right up the middle, nothing doing. Maybe a yard, and that's it. So 4th down and 5 for the Flyers, and I would assume they're going to have to kick this one away.
And you know what? I would have a rough time myself not handing the big guy the ball and giving him a chance to get you that 1st down.
Hosner back deep for Pineview. He stands at his own 20-yard line as he awaits this one. There's the kick. Beautiful kick. This is going to take Hosner back. Oh, he touches the ball, and it's loose on the ground. Let's see who comes up with it. Still loose as they dive for it down at the 7-yard line. We'll wait for the signal, and it is Dixie Flyer ball.
And there again, Ken, you could see he short-armed it just a little bit, maybe misjudged it just a little, but that's got to be a slick ball down, and you saw how hard it was for anybody to corral it and get onto it, and it just kept squirting out of there. Huge turnover. As we said, turnover is going to play a huge part in this game, and that may be the one that really makes a difference here.
Interesting how the tide can change here, as Dixie had just gone 57 for a touchdown, but then it comes back because of the hold. They have to punt it, and they get the break on the turnover here. Here's Takau trying to get around that left side, and he does. Touchdown! Amon Takau from 8 yards out. And just like that, Dixie back out on top as they lead at 34-28 with the extra point coming. And he read that beautifully. Got a nice block on that left end as well.
In fact, I was almost, wouldn't have been surprised if there would have been a flag came out, because it looked a little bit suspect there, but obviously it was a legal block and got him around the corner.
So the Snow College touchdown on the board here. Again, a great institution We appreciate Snow College being a part of the broadcast here tonight. And the extra point is up and good. So with 3:19 to go now here in the third quarter. This one leans back in favor of the men in white. Dixie leads it 35-28. We'll be back after this short break. So after the turnover, I should say the muff punt, Dixie doesn't take long to score as they get the 8-yard touchdown run to put the Flyers up by 7, 35-28. Just when we were talking about the weather playing a factor and the defense stiffening up, maybe not so many points this half, boom, they get a score. And here's the line drive kick, fielded at the 6-yard line. And I believe bringing that up across the 20 to the 25. Great move out to the 30 and stepping out of bounds at about the 32 is Hosner.
And I don't know for sure, Ken, but I would think that he's probably the son of Coach Ray Hosner on the sideline. So father-son combination out there tonight.
So now we'll see if the Pineview Panthers can answer here on this drive as they will start at their own 31-yard line. Might be about as heavy as we've seen it tonight as it's picking up again.
Yeah, and what used to be an easy pitch and catch all of a sudden turns to be not quite as easy.
3 wide, and here's Hosner with the catch at the 33 and moves ahead. He'll take it to the 38-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 7. So it'll bring up a second down at about 3. Again, glad to have you with us here on a Thursday night, a very wintry, cold evening here in Salt Lake City. Wilstead looking, going to roll right. Flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run ahead for the first down and then some. Whoa, as he steps out of bounds, back at the 47, and then a late hit's going to be called.
And that's kind of a tough call there,
it is.
Ken. I mean, it I guess depends on which way you look at it, but he's scampering down the sideline and just picking up yards after yard and then gets hit right on the sideline. It's like you can't just let him continue to run or he's going to keep going. So kind of a hard thing.
Yep. You're upset if you're Pineview if it isn't called. You're upset if you're Dixie because it is. It's just one of those, as you said, about as fine line as you're going to get right there.
Well, what they're saying is, look where they're marking the ball from. They're saying he stepped out 6 yards back here a little further. So they must have been blowing the whistle and wanted everyone else to stop with it as well. So.
Well, that's a big call, though, because this is going to take the ball all the way down inside of Dixie territory to about the 36-yard line. So it'll be first down and 10 for the Pineview Panthers. Well, now move to 37 is where we'll call it. And again, 2 wide top side, 1 to the near side. Here's Tia, the ball carrier, picking his way up through that left tackle spot. He's going to get about 4. Brings up second down. And I don't know if you can see it that well on the screen. I think you can. The snow really picking up here in the stadium. Now that this ball dropped by Wilstead, just as I say the snow is picking up, you can see how hard it is. And he's going to get ahead for about a yard, close to the 30. Brings up a big call at third down and about 3. And as far as receivers coach even trying to catch the ball, might be kind of hard to see the ball coming through the snow if you're out of ways.
Well, without a doubt, and that ball gets going down on that slick snow, you're not going to be able to just reach down and pick it up very easy. So weather really starting to become a factor here.
Wilstead all alone, stands at about his own, or I should say at the Dixie 38. Pass complete for a first down.
And just when you say that, Kenny just steps back in there nice and cool and throws a strike.
Lake Hentz on the catch. Gives Pineview a new set of downs as he goes out right at the 23-yard line. I was going to say, I'm sure they were in 4-down territory, but they pick it up on the 3rd down play. Here's the give. Pano Tia right up the middle. So he takes that right hash mark and moves the pile inside of the 20. It'll be a gain of a little over 3 yards. We'll call it 2nd down and 7 for the Panthers. And again, 4 wide here in the set. 2 to the high side, 2 to the near side. Wilstead with Tia to his left. He'll give it to Tia, and he will rumble up the middle for a first down close to the 6-yard line. That'll be a gain of nearly 14 yards. Once again, Coach, they get down here in the red zone, and they go to the big back. And he has really paid dividends for him here in the game.
You bet he has, and that's a luxury that both teams have here this evening, is because when things get bad like that, you get great back on both sides to keep that running game going.
1st and goal. Wilstead pulls it back out, looks to pass. Nobody open. Now going to fly it to the end zone. Is it caught? No. Looked like the receiver had it and might have got a foot down, but the ball is jarred loose right at the last minute.
Boy,
great vision by Wilstead to see him.
Nice play on both sides. Great vision for him to look like he was going to tuck it down and head for the end zone, then planted his foot, came back, made that defensive man make a decision, threw a strike, but a great defensive play by the DB.
So 2nd down and goal from about the 6-yard line. 2 wide here on the near side, 1 high, and he'll keep it himself, does Wilstead. And a nice defensive play as he steps inside of the 5-yard line. Cannot get any further. And the tackle that time. Try to get a couple of numbers there.
And I think it had probably been well served that time to turn it towards the goal line rather than try to string that one out just a little bit, because as big a body as he is, at least could have got right down close to the goal line.
Whew. So I apologize, looking for numbers in the snow here, and as we do, the time runs out on the clock. Boy, we've got a great finish headed your way as we got 12 minutes to go in this one. Pineview knocking on the door. They trail by 7. We'll be back after this.
Say no to gym intimidation. Say yes to Planet Fitness. We're not a gym, we're Planet Fitness.
Your locally owned and operated Planet Fitness is a proud sponsor of our amazing high school athletic programs. Our game today is sponsored by Dr. Robert Prince. Dr. Prince is the orthodontist that gives your high school something to really smile about. His office is located at 754 South Main Street in St. George. Call Dr. Prince for a free consultation and find out how easy and affordable it is to straighten your smile.
So how do you like your football? In the snow with a lot of offense? You got it tonight as Dixie and Pineview are really putting on a show here for the crowd. From Rice-Eccles Stadium on a chilly Thursday evening, Pineview with a 3rd down and goal from the 4.
Yeah, whatever your best football play is, you run it right here.
Back to pass, Wilstead avoids one tackler, steps up, avoids another one, gets past another, and is he going to get in? Not quite. To the 2-yard line. He ran about 15, 20 yards, but just short of the end zone, brings up a 4th down. Wow, big play here.
You got to go for it, though, Ken. The way this is, I'm not sure a field goal, because then you've got to have a touchdown anyway.
Yep.
And so, without a doubt, I think they're going to go for it.
And they will. 2 wide here to the near side. Tia stands to the right of Wilstead as he takes the snap, gives it to the big back, and says thank you very much.
And he just walks in, but everybody stood around. I think the reason why it was a penalty.
Yep.
Penalty on the play.
So we'll wait for the call. Offsides. So that'll move it a yard closer. Brings up 4th and goal now from the 1.
See, and that's a dead ball foul. They blow the whistle on that as soon as he crosses that line of scrimmage, which is very, very unfortunate if you're Pineview, because they would like to say, I'm sure, right here, we don't care about that penalty. Just give us the touchdown. And now a play that was very, very effective got him in the end zone easy. Now they're looking at having to get one in tough right here.
Double tie formation, full house backfield for the Panthers. And we'll see if they go to Tia one more time to try and tie this up. Little cross buck action, and did not get in, they say.
And I think he got drugged down just a little bit short.
So Tia just short of the goal line as the Dixie defense. They hold up, and they'll give their offense the ball back inside of the 1. Coach, I like the call giving it to Tia. It almost looked like maybe that play took just a little longer than they wanted it to.
But that was the play they scored a touchdown on previous, and so it did not surprise me that they ran that. But just unfortunate if you're Pineview, and great news if you're Dixie High School.
So a great job up front by the Dixie Flyers. And now they'll start about as close to your goal line as you can. And here is Takao down that far sideline, and almost another one-handed catch out near the 33, 34-yard line. Brad Barbin again out there. The kid has shown that he's got great hands.
Yeah, just about got one finger on that one, enough to pull it in. So
the only problem is, Coach, you're 2nd down, and now you are still about the length of the football from your goal line. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
You don't get taken down in the end zone right here.
But I don't mind that call, Ken. It looks to me that's a lot of times the defense thinks you're just going to try to get a little breathing room, and just about connected on that.
Takao out of his end zone again. Down the seam, and almost an acrobatic catch, a juggling catch. Close. As he was looking for the receiver right down the hash.
3rd down, 10 yards to go.
McLean Keenan, that would have been a great catch if he could have hauled that one in. But defense was there, coverage was there, and the ball was there, just not able to bring it in.
It's all about execution.
Now Pineview obviously not panicking right here. If they can just get a defensive stop, keep them from at least getting the 1st down, they're going to get the ball back in great field position. Here's the pass out in the flat, and too big at the 15-yard line, looking for his wide receiver.
Covered defensively by number 23, Drew Henson. 4th down.
So 4th down and 10. And Pineview.
Back deep for Pineview is number 6, Blake Hess.
Although they didn't get the touchdown, they're going to get the ball back in pretty good field position. If they can handle the punt here with the snow falling, the field is slick. Obviously, the ball will be slick.
Yeah, on both sides of the ball, the punter got to get it off in a hurry, and the guy that's trying to return the kick.
And he does to the far side, and this is going to bounce and roll out to the 49-yard line. And, Coach, that would have been a tough catch for the receiver to go up and make it, but I know you always said, if you can catch the punt for me, go get it.
Maybe even a little stronger than that. catch the ball. Catch that punt regardless. You know, there are circumstances
like this with snow.
Like this, that it's a little bit different, I think, but always wanted that punt caught regardless of just about any situation. So great field position here for Pineview to get back in scoring position again.
And they are going to move people all over the field. They're going to have 4. They're going to bunch up the receivers. Tia now comes back to the formation, and he'll stand to the right of Wilstead. Wilstead back to pass. Looking, got a man open, and missed him behind him. That's one of the few passes I've seen him throw.
And I was just going to say, you could tell that slipped right out of his hand. That was kind of a tough situation right there.
I was going to say, one of the few passes he's thrown that really had no chance to be caught by the receiver. So 2nd down and 10 from the 49. Again, the snow really starting to come down now. Here is Wilstead, Tia off that left tackle. Breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, and then falls ahead close to the 40-yard line. That'll be a gain of nearly 8 yards.
Tackled by number 6, Harrison, and number 4, Kim. 3rd down, 2 yards to go.
So after the gain of 8, it'll be 3rd and 2. And once again, Tia running hard, has a 1st down, close to the 34-yard line. Clock continues to roll here in this 3rd quarter. They'll stop it for a moment for the 1st down, but 9:40 left in the ball game. 35-28. Dixie leading Pineview. A new set of downs for the Panthers. Here's Tia again off the right tackle, and he bowls his way ahead to the 28-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and about 4 to go. And you can kind of see Coach Hosner, I'm sure, is looking at this weather as well, Coach, saying, I got a big fullback back here that's pretty secure with the ball. Let's ride him to the end zone. Now they're going to throw it. Picks it up off the turf, does Wilstead. Rolls to his left and has it tipped and maybe intercepted. It is.
What an incredible catch by, I believe that's number 65 again.
55. Ken. Is it our same?
Unbelievable catch.
Unbelievable play right there.
Yeah, that ball was tipped, and you were just mentioning it, maybe why they would drop back and throw it under these conditions with the success they were having with Tia, and just a great play by the Dixie defender to get a hand on that, tip that ball just a little bit, and then what a catch, Ken, out in front of him, diving for it, caught it in his hands, great play.
He really has played a whale of a game defensively here tonight. Takao keeps it himself around that left end. Steps close to about the 33-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and about 5.
And it's hard to even get your footing to plant your feet, to even turn it up the field. You could see that time
Jeff,
it was very difficult for Takao to
I believe, Coach, it was 55. I want to make sure I give the right credit to the right person. Jeff Martinez with that interception. And now look out. Big run out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. That is a gain of 14 yards. Trenton Miller picking up the big gain.
Both teams so close, Ken. I think 244 to 236 running the ball.
Takao keeps it himself this time. And ahead for a couple is all. Now here comes a late flag in on the play from the referee. And we'll wait for the call. Probably in the area of holding, I would guess.
Which is just exactly what Pineview needs and just exactly what Pineview got.
So from the spot of the foul, this will take the ball all the way back to the 35-yard line.
And you wonder, Ken, just how many times in these young men from Dixie's lives have they had to play in this kind of stuff, because they just don't get this down there very often.
So 1st and 21. And once again, Miller bouncing it, trying to get outside. Picks up about 3.
Tackled by number 10, Brooks Marty, the weak side linebacker.
And you could tell, Ken, he wanted to plant his foot and get upfield and just could not do it with this slick field. And so...
And if I'm guessing along with Coach Monkers here, he's saying, listen, I've got a 7-point lead here in some pretty terrible conditions.
Yeah.
I've got to be careful here. I still think he's going to keep it in the hands of his quarterback or his star running back, and that's just what he does right there. Trenton Miller trying to bounce it out, going nowhere. great effort and a great play being made right there. 54 and 44. As we try to get through our roster, we don't look as much at the interior people. Harrison Goebel, I believe, on the stop there, a little bit of help. Brings up a third down.
And you're inside 7 minutes, Ken. You know, you're looking at maybe just a possession or two left here in this ball game. So,
and again, the defense coming up big. The middle linebacker comes up to help make the stop. This will be a loss of a couple back close to the 30-yard line. Illegal shift. And obviously that penalty will be declined, so it'll be 4th down.
And so Pineview's got a chance here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this game go to overtime. I think the last game we did here last year, it did go to overtime. It either went to overtime or went right down to the wire. I don't remember, but a very entertaining game, just like this one here with the Southern Utah schools.
It's back deep for Pineview. This is a short kick. Nice Dixie Flyer roll inside the 20, down close to the 18-yard line.
Yeah, even though it wasn't that far of a kick, turned out to be very, very effective for the Dixie Flyers. And so with 6 minutes to go, Ken, you got a chance to go 78 or 82 yards, but you got to go that far if you want to cross the goal line.
And again, footing is really a concern here for the players. As you can see, the field pretty much covered now with snow.
And sometimes that can benefit the offensive player because you know where you're going, the defensive player doesn't and has to react to you. So I wouldn't be surprised they go downfield with it.
So here's a pass over the middle, incomplete, looking for Entz.
Yeah, just couldn't hardly get a handle on it. You can tell that this snow, this wet football is really affecting the way Wilstead's throwing the ball.
So Cody Wilstead with a 2nd down and 10. Again, coming into this game, almost 3,000 yards passing, 32 touchdowns. Certainly has the skills to do it, and he's got the receiving core as well to complement that passing game. And then the big back in the backfield, Tia. So
that's 6 incompletions in a row here, so definitely the weather is a big factor.
So they sort things out. I'm not sure what the officials were talking about, but we're ready to go. 5:59 left in the ball game. Pineview needing a score and the extra point to tie this thing up. Wilstead standing at his own 13. Tia to his right. 4 wide on the pattern, and Tia bowls his way ahead to about the 22-yard line, brings up a 3rd down now and 5. They'll say 6 as they'll mark him back closer to the 22-yard line.
Big play right here, Ken, because if you don't get this 1st down, you don't know if you're going to get the ball back.
Wilstead rolls to his right. He had 4 receivers that way, and the ball's picked off again. Out at about the 35 and returned all the way to the 13-yard line. That's the 3rd interception tonight for the Dixie Flyers. What a great play there coming up. R.J. Wilgar, I believe, is the one that made the pick, and that's his 2nd tonight. I believe Wilgar's the one that made the interception down at about the 1-yard line in the first half.
Just plays cat back there and read the eyes of Wilstead and made a good play on the ball. Again, I think the pass was a little bit errant, which, it's just unfortunate that weather can play this big of a factor.
So Dixie looking to capitalize on the turnover, and again, Trenton Miller is taken down for a loss of a couple. Boy, Pineview's defense has really stepped it up here on the last couple of possessions.
2nd down, 12 yards to go.
as they take Pineview down for a loss once again. Or excuse me, Dixie for a loss.
And I'm sure Coach Monkers does not care about that. He's just looking up at that clock saying, tick, baby, tick.
Here's Takao. Around that left end. Dives ahead close to the 8-yard line. Gain of right around 5. And Coach, a field goal is not going to be automatic right here in this weather.
Not going to be automatic, but would turn this into a real difficult situation for Pineview to try to win this ball game. 3 points makes it a 2-score game, and that's difficult in this weather.
4 wide for Dixie. And Takao keeps it himself. And a great play. Once again, that linebacker coming up. Pretty nice play there by the defense to come up and make the stop right there.
Yeah, Pineview's defense has just been fantastic here in this fourth quarter. Their defense has given the ball to Dixie twice, and their offense has, and their defense has just stepped up and really played.
Whew, so here we go. As Dixie will attempt the field goal, this will be about a 26-yard attempt to give Dixie a 2-score lead. Here's the kick. It's up and good.
Wow.
How about that? So the score now 41-28. And obviously, Coach, we need to give credit to the young man that was able to boot that up and through.
Yeah, just to plant your foot, stay on balance to plant your foot is quite a deal, and that ball went up. That would have gone through from a long ways away, and really paints a tough picture here for Pineview. You may have just as good a chance to score coming from a return like this, just about as much as anything else, because you just don't have the footing to do what you want to do. So a lot of times you can get up a full head of steam. And
so McLean Keenan handling the kicking duties gets that one to go and gives Dixie the 10-point lead, 38-28. Still plenty of time in this one with 3:22 to go. And now Keenan set to kick this one away from his own 40-yard line. And this one, line drive, fielded by Hosner at the 2-yard line. He'll bring it up across the 10 to the 15 to the 20, the 25. He pauses just for a moment, Coach, to let the field open up and then turns on the Jets. And now the snow has let up quite a bit. It's still falling, but it's not near what it was here a few minutes ago. So let's see now if Cody Wilstead, the BYU-bound quarterback, if he can work some magic here late in this one.
And we've seen some magical things here tonight, as well as last year's ball game between these two Southern Utah schools. So don't set your clocks back yet.
4 wide here in the pattern. Wilstead with the ball, looking, still looking. And now to the far sideline, over the head of the intended receiver on that far sideline. Just a little bit too tall.
And it's hard for us to see, as we've mentioned, Ken, but credit those defensive backs from Dixie, because they must be doing a pretty good job to blanket those receivers, because he just cannot find anybody open.
Preston Allen was the intended receiver on the far sideline, but you're right. Dixie's secondary doing a job. Here's Wilstead. He's got plenty of room to run out across the 35 to the 40 and taken down at the 41. Just a bit shy of the first down. That was Jaden Harrison that came up and made the tackle to make it a 3rd down and 1. I'm impressed with the speed, well, from both teams, but the secondary, that looked like a sure first down for Wilstead. Here's Tia. He's got the first down as he gets across midfield, runs over a defender, and then bowls his way to the 45-yard line. That's a gain of 14 and another first down. Clock will stop as they move the chains. 2:33 to go in this one. And now Pineview's got to speed it up just a little bit more than what they normally do. They usually do go fast.
And you notice Tia didn't try to plant a foot and juke anybody. He's going right for you.
Wilstead back at his own 46. Flushed out of the pocket. Steps up. Now lets the ball fly. Got a man open, Hosner, but a little too far over his head. Down at about the 33-yard line. Wilstead did a nice job in and out, but a flag lying right at the 46, and this looks like this is going to be a hold. And, Coach, this is going to be a huge penalty.
Yeah, it is going to be.
This is going to be marked off from the spot of the foul. So this is going to take the ball all the way back to the 36-yard line. This is going to be like a 20-yard penalty.
Yeah, it's going to be 19 yards. Boy, and that really puts you in a bind if you're Pineview. If there's anyone that can get out of it, I'm sure Wilstead is the man you would want to have do it, but we'll see.
Whoop, I had 19, but it's going to be further than that.
That was a 19-yard penalty from
so
the
29.
10, so yeah, 29 yards to go.
Yep, Wilstead, little screen over the middle. Tia works his way up across the 40 to the 45, keeps his feet, dives to the 50. That's a great effort by Tia as he picks up about 14.
Tackled by number 31 and number 37, Malachi Pakahua. Number 36, Namu Stevenson. Second down and 15 to go.
Once again, Pineview trying to go in a little bit of a hurry, but not much there, maybe a yard, and that's it. And Pineview is going to be forced to call a timeout here to try and conserve as much of this time that they can. Only a minute 39 to go here in this one, as both coaches going to talk about it.
And you've got two things going against you here if you're Pineview, both just as drastic as the other, and that is you got 14 yards to go with a third down situation, and you've got a minute 39 on the clock. So if you pull one out of the hat here, if you're Pineview, I'm sure looking forward to seeing it, because it would have to be quite incredible.
Obviously, you got to have a score and then an onside kick. But we saw a wild one here last year. So anything can happen. The snow has pretty much stopped. Maybe just a little bit still falling, but the field.
Yeah, the damage is done out on the field for sure.
So here we go, third down and 14. And the ball right at the 49 of Dixie. Wilstead at his own 45. Tia to his right. 4 wide in the formation. Wilstead got a man open and off the hand of Tia, and then almost intercepted. Again, this time trying to come up and make the catch after the deflection. If I can get, I believe that was 37 on the number.
Is that a little bit reminiscent of what you remember from last year, though, Ken? If you can remember that play going over the middle just like that. Somebody made a one-handed catch and worked themselves through the defense.
I believe that was Malachi Pakahua. And, you know, I was going to say, as Tia was trying to make his way up through, it looked like he kind of got tangled up with the defender, and I wondered if a flag wouldn't come out, and it did late, obviously. Apparently not an automatic first down.
Yeah, you know, and people do probably wondering what's going on. Rules are different in high school.
Yep. So third down and 4 now for Wilstead and the Panthers. He drops back, looks, and wide left, too high for the receiver here on the near side.
Yeah, that one just got away from Wilstead right there. I'm sure he'd like to have that one back because the receiver was open.
So a big play now. Basically, the season right here for the Pineview Panthers. They'd like to keep it going. It is a 4th down and about 4 yards to go. They've got to convert with a minute 27 to go to keep any hope alive. Trips to the far side, one to the near side. Got a man open and complete at the 34. Ooh, and a big hit. The receiver takes right at the 29. My goodness.
When that almost looked like that could have been helmet to helmet there, because that was some kind of a shot. Give credit to the Pineview receiver.
I think Steve Bangerter
Yeah.
I think Bangerter was the one that hung on after he took a big hit. Bono, Tia working his way inside. Now bounces it outside and only to about the 26. And that forces Pineview to take, I think, what would be their final timeout. Nope, just their second, they say. So they will have one to go here. 1:07 left on the clock. Pineview needing a score in a hurry. So let's take a quick break ourselves, and we'll be back for the final 1:07 right after this.
We feel that when clients come to us, the most important thing up front is to take the stress out of a highly stressful environment, to be able to create transparency and to create a relationship of trust where they know that we're going to take care of them every step of the way. That's what's most important to us. And in the end, we've delivered on our promises.
So Pineview with a second down and about 7. One timeout to go, I believe. Back to pass, Wilstead. Going to go far side. I think the ball just flat out slipped out of his hand as he was retreating back at about the 40-42 and just could not get the grip he wanted on it. It sails out of bounds.
And the stats, when this is over, aren't going to look real good for Wilstead, as things have been very difficult in this fourth quarter, but a very fine player and has played a lot better than what these stats will show. That's got to be difficult down there.
I think that was 65 for Dixie that had to come out of the game. He's played well tonight. Here's a pass just behind the intended receiver at about the 20-yard line. If he can hit him on the run, Coach, he's got a first down and maybe a score. We'll
that
see.
One into the end zone, because it looks like they were in some man coverage and no one else was watching. So, yeah, he'd like to have that one back as well.
So it'll be fourth down now once again. A play that Pineview needs to continue this game and, as I should say, their season. Wilstead looking, got a man, and incomplete. A little bit too high for that intended receiver down at about the 12-yard line. Blake Entz was the intended receiver, and he went up as high as he could, just could not bring it in. So the Panthers will go out on downs. And with 49 seconds to go in the game, it looks like Dixie is going to hold on to win this one in a little bit of, well, I don't know if I'd call it an upset, but they are the number 4 seed coming out of the South. Pineview is the number 2 seed.
Yeah, I think you would call it a mild upset, Ken, but in these weather conditions, boy, you can just about throw all that out the window. And
so Dixie, Hammond Takau will take a knee. A little unusual to see a quarterback take a knee from the shotgun.
I'm just shocked at that because you're right. That's that ball might get scored anywhere. So,
but that's what they do all year. It's not something that they're doing new here. So they're very comfortable taking the ball, the snap like that, and they do have Trenton Miller back at the 10, just in case that ball were to get loose.
Well, if it got loose, it would be all over the ground. It'd be tough.
And they'll take another knee, and I believe that is going to do it as the clock ticks down to 3, down to 2.
And I believe we had something said there by somebody from the Pineview team. The referee threw a flag with 3 seconds to go, so I don't know if that's going to make Dixie run another play.
Pretty good sportsmanship. Some of the players there shaking hands. And we'll see. Here's the call. So it is an unsportsmanlike call, and will they have to play one more down? There are 3 seconds. Nope, they wind it, and that will do it. And the Dixie Flyers are going to move on to the state championship game next week, and they will play the winner of Desert Hills and Hurricane. So both teams will head to the center of the field and congratulate one another. A great season. It's hard to see one of these teams go down, Coach, because they're both such quality programs. As Pineview, they will drop to 8-3 on the year. And Dixie moves to 9-4, and more importantly, they get a shot at that gold trophy next week.
You bet. And down there in southern Utah, these guys are all from the same town. I know it's not the same as a small town. You know, they're bitter rivals, but I'm sure a lot of them are real good friends as well. So
our congratulations to the Dixie Flyers, Coach Blaine Monkers, as he moves his team on one step closer to another state title. And congratulations also to Coach Ray Hosner, as he's got a quality team down there, as they have played well all year long. Again, it's tough, obviously, to lose this one. They had won their last 4 in a row, and was looking to get that first state title. But nothing to hang your heads about. I know the kids feel bad. They had a great year.
Yeah, and congratulations to both teams. That's right. And you wish the weather wouldn't have had any factor on this game whatsoever. Whether the outcome would have been different or not, no one will ever know that. But they're two quality teams, and both of them played well. We saw a lot of good plays tonight and a lot of good things.
So with that being said, your final, 38-28. Dixie wins this one. We're going to take a brief timeout, then we'll come back to Rice-Eccles Stadium and wrap things up from this first 3AA semifinal game. So stay with us. We'll be back right after this. So again, welcome back inside of Rice-Eccles Stadium as we wrap things up here. As I was just saying here during the break, Coach, as the game ends, the snow finally stops. But that's all right. As we were talking, it might make a little better traveling for everyone to get back home. And if you're in the blue and white tonight, obviously the trip might seem a little bit shorter. And if you're in the Pineview black, I'm sure they're a little disappointed. Makes that trip a little bit longer. There is no doubt. But a great effort by both teams. That was a fun game to watch as both teams were just lighting it up in that first half.
Yeah, a lot of good plays, a lot of good execution from these young men. And, you know, this is high school sports at its finest. Both teams play their heart out. Only one can advance. And you feel bad for Pineview, especially their seniors, because they don't get another chance at it. And congratulations to Dixie. They get a come back up here, or at least it would seem they will come back up here next week and hopefully ask for a little better weather. So it's just unfortunate, as we said, that weather played any part to this. But you know, both teams had the same circumstances, and just two fine football teams that I wouldn't say either one lost the game. Dixie won that game today.
You know, Coach, we had a Veterans Day assembly here, obviously on Veterans Day, that we attended, and one of our veterans that spoke on the assembly, he talked about when he was in high school. In fact, it was a young man that played for you, and he said, you know, that's one thing that just sticks with him forever. He graduated a number of years ago, and he says that He says, I thoroughly enjoyed my high school experience. I enjoyed playing for Coach Fowles. He says, I still dream at night about being on the field and playing for a state championship. He said, that's just one thing. High school athletics are so good for the young people. Yeah, it's just a game, but I think it's the purest form of athletics out there. And I'm talking whether you're a professional college. These kids are out there. They're not playing for big money. They're not. Most of them aren't going to get scholarships. There are some that are going to move on, and we'll have that chance. But for most of them, this stage right here is the thrill of a lifetime, and it will stay with them forever.
Sure it is. And they'll remember being up here, playing in this, and they'll have regrets, and they'll have moments that they wish they could do again. So congratulations to both teams on great seasons, and best of luck to Dixie next week.
With that being said, Coach, I know you're froze. I'm froze. I know Aaron over here. He's froze. I don't know if we'll be able to get him out of the stadium. I think he's sleeping here tonight. He's got the game tomorrow with Hurricane and Desert Hills, so we'll wish him the best of luck doing that one. But some great performances tonight, obviously, from both sides on the field. Tia had a great game running the ball. Wilstead, that was tough for him with the snow falling. It made it a little more treacherous out on the field to try and throw it on the money, and I feel bad for the kid there. He had a nice game, but it was a tough game to try and throw the ball late. On the other side, Dixie's Ammon Takau had a great game. Miller had a great game. I believe Barbin as well made some great catches. There's some great performances all the way around. This will be fun to go back and watch later again.
And Dixie had a couple of long touchdowns called back too, so that plays in the whole thing right here. Total yardage, Pineview won that battle. Looks like about 479 to 393, but it doesn't matter. It's how you get the ball across the goal line. Dixie was very fortunate enough to get a couple of breaks and took advantage of them, and that's what happens.
So your final score, 38-28. Dixie wins it over the Pineview Panthers. Again, we want to thank Mr. Mike Butler, Scaluzza, all the crew that allowed us to come up and do this game. Again, if you get a chance to check out Scaluzza, please do so, as they do a lot of good things for high schools throughout the state of Utah. Again, for Aaron Felstead, we appreciate him being here. He is our engineer tonight, getting us on and off the air, running the camera for us. It's been a cold evening for him to try and brave. Also for Coach Dean Fowles, he's been our color commentator tonight. I'm Ken Nielsen saying thank you so much for being with us here on a Thursday night. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Tune in tomorrow as they will have for you the Hurricane Desert Hills game. It should be another great one. Again, for all those folks I just mentioned, thank you for being with us. Have a pleasant evening. We'll see you tomorrow.